I'd expect will have very standard bans, whereas iCeLand will have much more targeted bans because they've been able to scout COG. Like COG said earlier, we brought this up, they don't prepare for other teams, but other teams have to prepare for them because COG has such a standardizing playstyle.
Yeah, of course. So you're seeing the extremely shocking first ban Anivia, of course, like a 70% ban rate against Frog and that Anivia, the Maokai. So you can clearly see here a lot of research has been done, and CLG.EU actually right away are spamming bans against the mid lane player as well. And you know, do these open up any picks for them, or is this just like them actually looking at iCeLand maybe a little bit?
This could be them doing a little bit because the Hong Kong qualifier games were viewable for them, right? The few games we pulled from. However, their mid lane player actually, Diana, Gragas, Orianna are 3 of his most played, so those are the 2 they probably identified as being the most threatening. They probably don't care if they get Gragas. Lee Sin, of course. Shen was also another one of iCeLand's most picked champions during the qualifier things we have. So
and Shen opens up a lot of possibilities as well. Of course, you can play in the top lane or in the jungle, so you still allow yourselves to sort of counterpick the opposition. But the main goal here, of course, is that Shen is such a great split pusher, such that you can kind of build a strategy around. You know, if Shen can win his duel in the top lane and just kind of keep pushing and pushing and pushing, it'll be very difficult for your opponents to stop you as a whole, because you'll win the 4-on-4 and you'll win the 1-on-1.
Yeah, and almost every team comp CLG.EU does is somewhat similar. And even before we went to the delay here because of the headset issue, we noticed that iCeLand had played mainly Shen as well. So we thought maybe they might have something up their sleeve. If they're going to pull it out, you almost want to do it immediately, in all honesty, just because CLG.EU might be the strongest team in this group and they'd want to be able to beat them right away. But with the Shen first pick, that also being their most played top laner during their qualifier, seems to me that they're still playing standard.
Yeah, and that's fine, of course. Like, and honestly, like when you get a first pick like Shen, it's something you can kind of really rally behind in the first place. You know, Lulu and Ezreal are great champions in general, and I wouldn't be surprised to see CLG pick them. And it's a great bottom lane, and they'll have a lot of presence. But like, Shen is one of those champions you can just build yourselves around at the very, very beginning. And you look at these kind of picks coming through here, and heck, you can almost play Protect the Kog'Maw here. That Kog Nunu, you know, coming together there. You've got a lot of late game damage up potential, and that is going to be the lock-in, and you've still got Shen that can protect that. So, you know, I like this from iCeLand, but they've got really great picks.
Team composition-wise, this makes a lot of sense already, right? Nunu Kog is extremely strong, as you said. Shen is very standard in the top lane. It's already good Protect the Kog'Maw. It's just a matter of, you know, are they going to be able to outplay CLG.EU? Because that hasn't really been the case for so many of these other teams that have picked up. So with this, though, will Frog do something kind of creative in the mid lane? They haven't seen the enemy mid laner. If I had to guess, there's been no Aurelia ban.
Yeah.
Yeah, as it comes out.
Shockingly, Wicked's most played.
If Wicked wants to play Aurelia, he's going to play Aurelia.
Yeah.
If it's not banned. Almost every single time it's up. And that's going to be good for him. I've seen him do very well against Shen. It depends on the rest of the team comp. He actually kind of revolutionized that Ionic Spark with Zen build, which is like heavy magic damage. If they run that, if Froggen wants to play physical damage mid, so if he does Jarvan or Corki or Lee Sin, right? But of course Lee Sin's been banned, so he can't do that. Once again, I mean, this is standard classic CLG.EU.
Yeah, it's exactly the kind of things they want to play. I mean, it's a little bit different because now Krepo's been playing a lot more Lulu. That wasn't really in his repertoire a while ago, but now that they've been, you know, they played the Azubu Summer League in Korea, so that gave them a lot of experience. Because like the Koreans love Lulu so much. Like Lustboy actually has a nickname where they call him Les Lulu because he plays it so much. And so, you know, he's picked that up, so it's a little bit new for him. You know, it used to be like Leona every single game, but now that, you know, if Twisted Fate is the lock-in here, I mean, this gives a lot more options to Counter Logic Gaming Europe. I mean, if they really go Twisted Fate, they've got 2 globals on this team, and I like TF as well because he's going to participate in these other lanes, which is going to help Kog'Maw so much as well that they can almost guarantee a really good lane for Kog here, and he's going to keep scaling on up.
Yeah, I mean, they have played Twisted Fate twice. It was actually one of their only losses, iCeLand, in their qualifiers was TF. Morgana, however, they've never picked if they decide to go with that. So let's see if their AP mid can show a bit of versatility. Now he's going to go right back to TF, and they'll get that kind of global strategy with Protect the Cog. We'll see if that works out for them. Now the big question is, what is Froggen going to throw up in the mid lane against TF? Because TF is a very almost attackable laner early. Like a lot of the people that don't like playing TF just worry about his laning phase and don't want to get through it. And I mean, we've seen if he decides to go Lux. I know there was actually a montage that showed up on Reddit of Froggen's Lux just destroying people with light binding, really just fishing for kills. And they have the Ezreal combo, so the way that works is they just land a light binding and then just kind of bisect their ultimates together, and someone just gets obliterated. And, you know, that would very easily work for CLG. They'd be very comfortable with that team comp, and it would really just be on them to outplay iCeLand.
And it's cool here too because you got two things that work really, really well together here on the CLG lineup. One is like long range poke. You've got Lulu, Ezreal, and Lux all working together, kind of dealing damage from very, very far away. And there's no healers on iCeLand, so that should land and kind of contribute, so you can stalemate at Dragon or Baron and kind of work your way through it. But also you've got really, really good sort of initiation. If you, again, land a light binding or Lulu gets a Whimsy down, Skarner can just jump in there and pull someone back. And you've got so much burst on the back of that whoever you pull, unless it's pretty much Olaf, is going to die. So there's two ways that CLG can play this, which is far back or completely in your face. And I think either works for them.
We'll see how this works, actually. So, looking at the lanes, the big surprise here is actually the Lulu pick for CLG.EU, because Creepo and Pete really haven't played many Lulu comps, if I think back. Even since IPL Face-Off, we have our sweet stats. They haven't played Lulu support, I don't think. I'm missing a page. Maybe they have, but it's not one of their top 6.
No, it's certainly not.
Supports.
Like, again, this is a little bit new for Creepo.
Right, so that lane is going to be up against Nunukog if they don't decide to do a lane swap. The thing they could do, though, if they decided to go for a lane swap, is they'd be able to push down a turret, whereas the Nunukog wouldn't be able to necessarily, because Nunu's not a very good pusher since he's melee and it's too dangerous for him. Aside from that, I'd see Froggen. It's going to be on him kind of to carry and win this game against TF, and then Snoop Egg really can't gank until 6, so majority of the lanes are going to have to hold their own.
So what do you think about possible lane swaps here? Is it even worth it, or is Nunukog going to hold up in the first place? Like,
Nunukog is a strange lane. It's kind of like they don't need to lane swap against it, and it might not be in CLG's favor because I don't know how good of a 1v2 laner Aurelia is, right? She's okay. She can farm at the turret, but it's a little more vulnerable than Shen, right? They'd be kind of, if there's going to be a lane swap, it should be initiated by iCeLand because they would have the better of the two, but I don't really see them trying to pull that against CLG.EU, but you know, if they do, we'll see how it works. I'm really curious to see how iCeLand comes out here because CLG, we know the way they perform. They're one of the most consistent teams in the world, so really, it'll be a benchmark to see how good iCeLand is right away in this game.
And the one thing I think that works well for them, honestly, is they are touted as a bit of an aggressive team. You mentioned in the beginning we had a little bit of time to fail. Now, we didn't know a whole lot about iCeLand. You know, they're from one of the foreign regions. We haven't gotten to see any of their games firsthand. But the little bit of programming we've had kind of states that, you know, they like to lane swap, they like to aggress, they like to invade, they do a lot of things. And actually read into the support's item builds and said, you know, if you can read it, if it's potions, if he's got potions in there at all, it's going to be a lane swap because he's going to play aggressively and take a little bit of damage. But if it's like mass wards, it's going to be, you know, passive and they're going to kind of sit in the back. So that might even give us a tell here that they might go for something more aggressive than normal. We'll see.
So level 1, we can see the pings going out right away. Let's see if they do the standard things. Right here, you can see TK Singh on Nunu has started all consumables, so we didn't even start with the Fairy Charm. 3 health potions. A little bit worried about that lane, probably getting harassed down, so we'll see how that works out for him.
And I mean, an early vision ward as well kind of tells me that they are going to look for something a little bit aggressive. When we watched, you know, one of the first games, actually, they're going to meet up right away. Snoopy taking an undertow to the face. They know about this. Light Binding comes out. That's going to hit TK Singh as well, and here comes the pressure. Look at the damage. Forcing Nunu to flash away. Undertow on the back trying to keep CLG.EU from chasing too hard. Looks like they'll finally stop that. Cat had pulled up a red card, but now EU kind of backing off. But the one thing they got was that ward here, that ward to cover up that race, so they will be able to watch Snoopy's jungle pattern.
That's all he was going for, but it was just such a dangerous place to just wander. Now CLG's going to try to place the same ward of their own. iCeLand may be waiting for it. They put the ward down in that brush. I don't think CLG saw that, so they don't know they have
He's locked
vision
the gold card.
They could go for a fight here when the CLG comes in.
And there's the amazing power there. Red catching everyone. Yellow Pete getting crushed right there. Is he going to get low enough? First blood picked up. Red running away. Ignite is on. He will fall. Trading back and forth. Snoopy forced to flash away. Ice is there with the undertow. Gold card locked again. Will it catch Snoopy? His flash is down. This is all they need to get that kill. There's a stun going out. This is going to be a 2-for-1. There it is. The second kill picked up. And right off the start, iCeLand with a great opening play. That ward opened up everything.
Wow, that was a very smart ward by iCeLand, predicting what CLG was going to do, and that gives them the early gold advantage, but because they happened so late, no one's really been back to shop to buy any items, right? So Shen, with the kill and the death, got the free trip to base, and he's going to start with the ward and a cloth armor, but everyone else really doesn't have the window to shop, so they won't be able to capitalize on any of that advantage for quite some time. But with that, everyone burned all of their summoner spells on iCeLand, whereas CLG saved multiples. So Froggen, for instance, and Crepo still have Flash, and then their offensive or defensive summoner with Ignite and Exhaust. So in the lanes, really early, surprisingly, even though losing level 1, CLG's got an edge in top and mid lane, or top and mid lane right now because of the 2v1.
So we'll see how that pans out. Cat taking a little bit of pain. Looks like a bit of a lane swap here. So it's CLG.EU actually initiating that, and we wanted a 2v1 up against Red. Apparently they're happy to give Wicked complete control of this bottom lane in this 1 vs 2.
We'll go back top real quick.
Okay. Sorry.
Get
that one
what
going.
was interesting there is Crepo was just waiting in that brush and didn't show. They were trying to hope Red would start to overcommit so they could get the harass down. They took him down to about half, but because he had all this extra health potion, it seems to actually be pretty ineffective.
Yeah, he's taking a bit of punishment. Of course, the early cloth armor makes a lot of sense there. He's going to take a fair bit of physical from Yellow Pete in general. So, you know, trying to remove some of those auto attacks is going to help a bit. The unfortunate thing for him, though, is that, of course, Lulu does have quite a bit of magic damage as well. So I don't see that being the easiest lane for Red, even with that first blood gold.
So only 3 minutes in. That's 900 gold, even without the shop. Seems like iCeLand, at least with the jump, is kind of holding their own. You can usually tell very early on just by mini kills if they kind of know what they're doing. And, you know, top lane, Wicked's completely denied so far. He hasn't yet the wave hit the tower. Mid lane is even, so TF is farming just quite well. Even the jungler is on the right paths, right? He's got pretty much matching Snoopy, and he's picked up an early Philosopher's Stone, which is going to be pretty big here. And here we always see, when that 2v1 lane pushes to the tower, the jungler loops around the back and dives. Will Red be ready for this? Will he smell it? Otherwise, CLG is going to get a kill here.
They're going to track him, keep track of his cooldown. He's going to dash away, but Snoopy's going to show up here. He's going to be able to land the first sets of slow. There's the first priming shot, and there we go. The slows are landed onto Red. He's got no flash. Just going to be a couple auto attacks to go, and that's going to be that one picked up. But you can see the exact same move was made. Yeah, and this is one where, obviously, Wicked found it out, didn't have to burn anything to get away from that one. Now, they'll get some turret pressure. They might kill the turret for it, but that's I mean, exactly what you said, right? Sniffed it out. And it's funny, you were actually talking before the tournament about these 2-on-1s and how, you know, people have to learn, like, when they get to their turret, the jungler shows up and ganks you.
It's like clockwork. When you do these 2v1 lanes, it seems like once the laners hit level 3, you can expect a gank to come. Both teams kind of had a plan. They both had the same thing on their mind. It's just Red wasn't quite fast enough getting away. And 2 turrets down by 4 minutes, 30 seconds, and a dragon coming from iCeLand. So this is a very action-packed game. Barely taking the dragon down. That was completely unexpected there.
That's a really, 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 really good move for them overall, though. They're, you know, in great shape, and part of that is even that lane swap, where, you know, the reason most of these teams run their AD carry and support at the bottom lane is because you want that extra member there by the dragon. And I think this is, you know, iCeLand realizing, okay, so CLG swapping, cool, we'll pressure bottom, and this to me feels like a full 5-minute planned strategy, where, okay, we're gonna push down the bottom turret at 4 minutes. We've got 4 people here. Just take control of it. We know your jungler ganked top at the same time. He's gone. 2 members top lane. They're not there. And they're happy to trade Red away, honestly. And they got so much more out of it.
Yeah, and I mean, 1,000 gold lead really early for iCeLand. Really impressive play already. But now it's the question of how do you transition this? Because once you take down the first turret, where does your farming go? What do you do next? You can see the lane is pushed back very far for them. They're opting to give the farm to Kog'Maw, whereas CLG is opting to give the farm to Wicked. So that's going to put Wicked a little bit ahead of Red if they decide to eventually go back to the lane, because Wicked's going to freeze it there. The question is, will CLG try to push mid, and will Ice try to push top? Because it's 1 turret for 1, and we need to see who moves next.
Well, so far, they're keeping their turret alive so far. We do have Yellow Pete and Crop actually taking out that lane themselves. So is that going to be like... I mean, Frog and Lex is coming back now. Skarner's running around to the side, doesn't really get any ganks off because he's going to be kind of 1 versus 0, but he's actually warded off the Golem camp here, so it seems like the next move that's going to be made here for Counter-Logic Europe is to try to make a stab at the blue buff.
Actually, they're just shoving down mid lane as much as they can, trying to shield that creep, but it's getting pushed back. TF is actually very good at clearing down waves mid, as is Lux, so normally when you do push down that first turret early, the AD carry and support will go mid and try to push down that one next, since the mid is generally the most important turret to take down.
Yeah.
But because of the incredible wave clear both these teams have, it's going to send them almost back into a modified laning phase where people don't have turrets at their back. So Nunu Cog in a lot of danger, as well as Shen right here. Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, and Snoopy's getting close to level 6. Now, Red only 4, actually, so Snoopy's probably going to get to 6 before Shen does. And the difficulty here is, with no turret to run back to, they can easily go for a gank on iCeLand's top lane. And when you look at that,
here they come.
Comes Skarner and Lux.
And there's no turret behind him, and the TF ult comes in, though. That's going to scare him back. Where's he going to go? That was just to dissuade what Snoopy was going to do.
Yeah.
Lanes are going to reset again.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really, really good read overall, though. Cat saying, okay, they're coming top lane. You know, he saw Lux go MIA. He's, you know, he guessed on Skarner basically, and it was the right move. But here comes a push again. Lycan taking so much pain here. They're trying to fire back. Krumpa taking a bit of damage, but again, Skarner's back here. Flash exhaust. The slow is on. There's Yellow Pete. TK Singh not gonna like this one. Snoopy in a great place as well. Actually, not in range for the slow though. Lycan with the flat. No, it's not gonna be enough. The heal goes off. Lux ult not quite gonna hit. And he's actually still outranging Snoopy just barely. Snoopy's not going to get the slow on this attack. He's going to get one more hit to go. Will he finally land it? Yes, he will. One auto attack, two auto attacks. There you go. Finally picks it up.
Is he going to get him?
It's going to be close. Looks like Lulu's nearby. Shield doesn't even need it.
So a good chase down. We knew that was going to be the danger for them when they tried to 2v2 lane without a turret behind them. They completely got ran down, and they didn't pull off the same move themselves. So, you know, it's going to be issues for them. The gold lead they got from the First Blood and from the Dragon gone now because they've given up those 2 kills. Let's see if they can hold on and keep this up, or is CLG just going to take it over?
Oh, there we go. Red finally hitting level 6, and there is that blue steal coming out here from CLG.
Yeah, you called it.
Yeah, Froggen trying to get the control there, and it's going to go to Froggen. Nice timing right there. Yellow Pete knowing he could land the one extra basic attack and give that one over. I mean, and that was great though by CLG. They planned that top gank to get people off the map so that they could go in for the blue buff and have more people there for it. Like, you know, I talked about you know, the dragon kill from iCeLand being planned. Like, this felt like again a 1 minute in advance orchestration from CLG. Gank top, kill them off, take blue.
It's a little bit of a back and forth here. You can see CLG was forced into a slightly different game plan when both the turrets fell. A lot of times they like to have the laning phase until 15, 20, 25 minutes, really, as long as you're possibly going to let them go for it. But because the laning phase was modified or somewhat changed at 4 minutes with both those turrets going down, really just has to change the mentality of the teams coming in. So Froggen getting the blue steal is going to let him hopefully bully Cat a little bit. You can see he's already growing that minion kill advantage, 82 to 59 in the mid lane. Already with that Chalice of Harmony. Snoopy already picked up an Oracles, as you can see him clearing out those blue wards.
Yep.
Even though the gold is even though iCeLand came out to an early lead, it looks like CLG might be trying to take a bit of control here.
And I think they've got all the rights to. Now, 228 has picked up his own Oracles, hasn't consumed it just yet, so he's going to be a big factor here. But yeah, you know, CLG.EU, I think their team is really well suited towards making a lot of aggressive plays. Everyone on that team is pretty fast. I don't think they want to sit there and let Twisted Fate get his ult, teleport somewhere, let Shen teleport somewhere. Like if both teams just lane, Lycan gets farmed on Kog'Maw, and the global ults from iCeLand just let them run wherever they want, and they're very, very happy. So I think CLG should make some moves.
And now we see actually Twisted Fate, Nunu, and Shen all coming through to the mid lane. It's very, very close. Someone's pointing to the screen, not really sure what's going on here. But double buff Olaf with the Oracles. Both junglers now picking up the Oracles. Shall see what they end up going with. And I think we had to make a little switch there. What was that?
Oh, I didn't have the scoreboard up there for iCeLand versus CLG.
Oh,
sorry, yeah. So we're running the scoreboards up here at the second stream, and I did not apparently learn quickly enough about what to do.
Come on, freak.
I'm sorry, I'm trying. I even streamed like on my own, and I like still didn't know how to click buttons apparently. But we're back. You can tell iCeLand left-hand side, that blue team CLG. For those of you just joining us, we're here in the group stage at IPL 5. Keeping up with the current times. And this is the second match here of Group B. You've got both CLGs here. CLG Prime 1-0 up against Fear is going to be waiting for the winner of this game right here. And it's looking very, very close. Identical gold, actually, 11 minutes in.
Yeah, so both teams actually, now with the Oracles, have cleared out a majority of wards. All 5 members of both teams sneaking around the Dragon here, looking to get a pick off. They're going to be fishing with the light bindings. Ice might be just waiting around the same edge trying to pick off a gold card. They know they're going for that ward. This is very tense.
That was a really good read. He actually went toward that ward and turned around, not even being able to see Froggen, and was like, he's going to throw spells at me, and actually juked him. That was a really, actually great move. Like, honestly, even if iCeLand doesn't do very well this tournament, again, there's underdog, no one knows much about them. From the moves they've been making, they are absolutely phenomenal individual players. Like, I mean, they're of course, everyone here at this tournament is really among the world's best. But
well, they're holding their own at least in the first 11.5 minutes, which says a lot because so many teams were not able to do that against CLG.EU in the past, or really any known professional team. So the fact they're this unknown team out of Hong Kong that is actually dead even with gold, 11 minutes and 40 seconds in with CLG, has taken turrets, has gotten First Blood, and has gotten a Dragon, really shows that they came to play.
But there's a gigantic minion wave top that someone's going to have to kind of account for here, or CLG.EU kind of wins the stalemate just by kind of accruing or having more gold lost to the map. But here comes the pressure. CLG really putting the pressure onto this Dragon, getting it down about 10%. but they're still afraid. They don't have quite the map vision to take these down, you know, uncontested. That iCeLand constantly is just around here. And the one good thing for them is Red was down here farming the bottom lane and can simply ult back into the fight. And
it's not like CLG to actually pull out dragons and force fights. They generally like the other team to do that for them. So them being pressed here is a little strange to watch them do. They're clearing out the wards. They're hoping that they will overcommit or just give up and CLG will get a free dragon. But this is still very much not like them. They're not even an objective-based team, so to speak. They normally just farm. This is a very strange, odd play from CLG right now.
We can see actually a little bit of moves coming in there. Froggen going for a bit of pressure. There's the ult coming out from Twisted Fate. It's going to reveal everyone on the other team. Sees that no one is even close to stopping Shen. And it looks like they're just kind of going to disperse around Dragon at this point. No one really making any major moves anymore. Again, iCeLand can make moves anytime they want because Shen can show up. But I think CLG realized that they need Wicked to kind of counteract that and get farm himself. So they had to get off that Dragon. G2 had actually slowed down a little bit, had to pop a Zolt. So again, a couple of cooldowns actually now missing here for iCeLand. The Ragnarok for Olaf and the Destiny for Twisted Fate. I mean, is that enough for CLG to try to start a fight?
I mean, it's a war of attrition right now. They've gotten the 2 ultimates down and cleared a huge amount of wards. They think they've starved them completely out of it. You look at everyone on ice, there's no wards on Dragon, so they don't even know that this is happening. Looks like CLG finally finished it off.
Yeah, they just have Froggen in the mid. Again, you mentioned Lux being a great minion sweeper, able to stop pushes, and you saw that exactly. A 1 versus 4, and no pressure was made on that middle turret. They got a Dragon for free, really nice move. And this is the first time we've actually seen CLG Gaming Europe winning in this game.
Finally being able to take it back. Didn't get any kills, so they haven't cleared off the Oracles, but they have shown to have kind of the superior pressure here. They're the ones actually forcing on iCeLand, which is very much unlike CLG, but they'll do that if they feel like they have to. As soon as they get a lead is generally when they kind of pull back and just wait for the other team to try to get it back. They're very controlled in the way they win games, and thus far, they're back in control.
Well, the thing is, like, to me, just because I see Nunu Kog'Maw and it completely dominates my brain, I feel like it's up to CLG to make moves early on. That iCeLand has this like ridiculously amazing, if we sit in lanes all game, we win for free composition. Where like Kog'Maw's going to be brutal. I don't think there's like enough assassins on CLG to stop him.
Well, they have Lux is the thing, right?
Okay.
Lux can reach Kog'Maw if she does it right.
Okay.
It's just a matter of, like, yes, Nunu Kog'Maw does scale kind of crazy, but then they also have the double global, which is generally a mid-game composition, because once you get into that grouped up, you know, 30 or 40-minute teamfight phase, the globals aren't as important anymore because you're just fighting in the same places. You can split push with them fairly well, but at the same time, CLG is one of the best teams at dealing with Shen, just with the way they play. We'll get into that if it ends up coming up, but you know, not as worrisome as you normally think just because they put Nunu Kog with the double global team. Generally, that would be to ensure a victory if they are ahead, but since they're not ahead, it might not be enough.
Okay. So you know, we'll see if they can get their gold lead back together right now. Kog'Maw, not in the best shape, has not finished his Zeal just yet, and CLG.EU, they're making moves over and over and over again. They've pushed down the second middle turret, or the second turret, the one in the middle, and yeah, you're right, they're just pushing themselves ahead bit by bit throughout this game.
And we could actually be in for a long one. There's a binding, and you can see they're just poking around, hoping to get them low and then siege down these turrets. Shen is split pushing right now, though, so they're going to have to pull back or go all in right now, and knowing them, they're going to pull back.
Yeah, that's their general gameplay here. You mentioned that during the pregame show where the number one thing that CLG typically says is
disengage.
Disengage.
Over and over.
CLG disengage.
It's a hard thing to do. I mean, you try to carry that tactic into solo queue. It's like, let's disengage, guys. No.
That doesn't happen.
One or two people will miss the memo and you'll lose the fight entirely. But when you pull it off with organization and with a lot of practice, it can be a very viable strategy.
It's actually the kind of thing that like CLG Gaming North America was trying to run for a long time throughout like the North American regional, was this like long-range team with like 2 to 3 summoner teleports where they would just try to not fight, and then like Doublelift would kill an inhibitor out of nowhere, and it was great. They would just slowly win the game. You know, CLG.EU, they are disengaging a fair bit this game, but at the same time, they are making moves, right? They've built themselves a gold lead by getting more kills, by getting that second dragon and making the right moves there, and by taking down these turrets there. So, you know, as strange as it might seem, CLG.EU is kind of the aggressor in this game, but they're making very measured steps, right? None of their pushes are getting them caught and counter-engaged on. They're just kind of slowly growing, and that is kind of trademark CLG.EU. It's
actually kind of strange how the longtime fans will recognize this, but back in Season 1 when CLG.NA was kind of the #1 team, they played a lot like CLG.EU. And even though the teams aren't related aside from the name, it's just a matter of the low kill high farm, late game strategy was pretty much invented by CLG.NA. It's just been perfected and improved upon by CLG.EU, and they're really the dominant force with it right now. As here comes the TF ult, they might look for Snoopy's oracles. Godbreeze's flash.
Oh, they got him the flash away. The ult's still on. Twisted Fate will teleport into this brush here. Not quite in range for a stun. Didn't want to jump in too aggressively to get jumped by Snoopy. But Undertow's still going out. I mean, oh, would you look at the combo there, Lux. So much damage on a Cat's Twisted Fate. That's suddenly going to wake people up. And there we go. Snoopy is sweeping out wards. They're not quite able to push this middle turret either. So, you know, Ice trying for a move. But again, CLG.EU really good at disengaging.
So hard to push in on a Lux, especially when Froggen is as assassin-like with his combos. But at the same time, it's only 1,000 gold again, it's 18,000 in. iCeLand is holding pretty well those bindings, getting really scary.
The bindings are really what's doing a whole lot for CLG here. It's allowing them to initiate fights if they need them, because otherwise you have Skarner like running at people, and that's usually really hard with Ice Blast in that situation because it'll completely break any kind of speed you've got. And so it's like Froggen waiting off in this. This is like his favorite spot, by the way, when they're on purple team, is right across this wall, long range light binding, lands it, a lot of damage. Look at TK Singh just so very low, and Nunu's a champion who needs to be kind of in the fight. Like Ice Blast and Absolute Zero are very big factors here.
He needs to be able to zone control with that, and because of all the poke, another binding landed on Lickin. They're getting half the turret down. Here's the disengage. Oh, there's a flash.
Oh, no, they got the flash done. Krepo taking a lot of pain. Great double shields, though. Going to completely block out Ignite and everything else. CLG, I feel like they actually almost have to disengage at this point because Red is split pushing the top lane, has full health, has that Sunfire cape. It's working very great for him. And they're low enough on health now, it's going to be a little bit harder for CLG to push in. They've sent Wicked on Aurelia up to the top lane to try to stop him. And that's what they're going to be for now.
So, you know, holding pretty well right here. Twisted Fate's almost at his death cap. They actually beat CLG to an Aegis of the Legion. You can see Olaf's already built it already. So he's going to be, excuse me, a little bit ahead of Snoopy on gold just because of the kill. The really early Philosopher's Stone that Olaf was able to pick up. And they're staying right in this freak.
Well, and the thing I want to point out as well is I've been keeping track of the gold as this game goes on. When CLG.EU took that second turret in the middle, they were exactly up 1,000 gold. Since then, that's now 300 gold. That in the last like 3 minutes, Ice just constructed several hundred gold out of nowhere. And if that keeps going on,
split push top is what happened.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, he got a couple waves.
And so it gives them this like mid game, and you mentioned it right. The globals there are kind of like a mid game strategy here to try to like make things happen, and it's doing that right. They're kind of disengaging. They're playing far back. They know again that Kog'Maw's there and is great. Now Froggen's catching people out, but they're constantly getting Red more farm. He's getting up and up and up. He's ahead of Wicked in minion kills. He's kind of the major source of gold here. And CLG's got to like keep trying to make moves themselves, like Dragon here.
Well, they just saw the Twisted Fate and went back to base. They snuck another Dragon. They had the Oracles declared off, and they're going to try to get this game, it seems, with objective control. There's a TF ult. They just realized it's been taken. They're trying to take the middle tower. We might see a fight here. Wicked's trying to flank around.
Oh, an amazing true shot barrage catches 4. Red gets the taunt. He's going to hit on the Yellow P. He's so low. Trying to chase on with the flash. He can't quite kill him. Ignite is on. He's still surviving. Lux puts the damage down 228, forced to run away. The turret actually alive. And we look at that as 0 for 0, but so nearly 3 kills in that fight.
And everything got burned down onto Pete, and he barely escaped the Lux shield, giving him the double shield. Back to the game of poke, you know, Pete went back to shop. CLG a little low. Let's see if Ice can finish off this turret, but it's unfortunate that Cat on TF is out of mana.
Well, and that's just, it's just amazing for them overall. And this Kog'Maw, he's so speedy now as well. He's got that Phantom Dancer completed. He's got Blood Boil on him. This Nunu actually going to check. He's about to finish maxing it. He's 1 level away from getting that. So this Nunu is going to be able, or this Kog'Maw rather, if he's paying very, very close attention, should be able to outrun Snoopy and should be able to dodge all of Froggen's abilities as well.
And you can see now, you know, the red buff on that, and this is surprising, really. You talked about the individual skill of iCeLand, but you look at the Kog'Maw versus Ezreal lane, and even though those were 1v2s, it's still just down a lot to the last hitting and farming, and 155 on Kog'Maw to 135 on Yellow Pete shows these guys really know what they're doing, you know. Red is even farmed with Wicked. Froggen is 50 ahead of Twisted Fate. That's going to happen, right? And just overall, even though they've lost 2 dragons, even though they're down a turret, they're staying only 1,000 off in gold, and they really have not, they're not a pushover whatsoever. They're staying very well in this game.
Exactly.
And with how close that last fight is, if they get just the right catch or a good engage, now there's a death cap on Twisted Fate, they get the right set of circumstances, they could very well take this game. I'd still favor CLG.EU, but this is impressive.
Yeah, I mean, mathematically, CLG.EU is winning. It's 21 minutes in, a 2-kill lead for Counterlogic Gaming Europe. They're up a dragon, they're up a turret. You know, they're overall just ever so slightly ahead. Honestly, to be fair, the only kills iCeLand has picked up in this game were the 2 kills at level 1. Since then, CLG has run 3 kills in a row in the general gameplay. And that I think that speaks quite a bit that, you know, in the pregame you said that CLG.EU are the favorites here. They're a little bit stronger, and they are. They are a little bit stronger right now. Now, again, these teams could both go either way. It's close enough that it's anyone's game, and we're seeing the resources just be split almost down the middle here. It's going to be up to how these teams team fight, how they go back and forth, what kind of moves they make.
So Bloodthirster getting completed onto Yellow Pete, not going for the Trinity Forest Rush like usual. Still just the Athenes on Holy Grail on Frog, and he's really waiting for that Death Cap and Sork Shoes before he really kicks in heavy with this stuff. Sunfire Cape on Red Shen. That's for the split push. He might go for an Ionic Spark there because he's got the 2 components of it ready to go. Really, they're just preparing for more of their game plan. Split push Shen, farmed up Cog.
Oh man, Kog'Maw has to burst summon or heal. He didn't quite need it there, but that's Lux without any magic pen, without any significant ability power here, right? He's only going to get scarier and scarier against Lycan there, dropping him below half health in one combo. That's going to get worse and worse overall, especially when Wicked joins in on Aurelia. I'm a little bit fearful for Kog'Maw's life, but you know, I want to see the underdog here though. I want to see iCeLand do well overall. That just to see, you know, teams show up, and again, you know, IPL is like the tournament where teams come out of nowhere and surprise everybody. So yeah, I'm just ever so slightly pulling for them just for that reason, if nothing else. I
mean, you can see though, Froggen's still not really hit his build yet. He's at 212 AP, doesn't have any magic pen yet, so that combo on Kog'Maw, it did half of his health, right? That's going to kill him when he gets Death Cap and Sorcerer Shoes, right? So that'll be a big point. Everyone going back on CLG to shop here. If we just check the gold really fast, you can see there's a whole bunch of gold for them to shop. Froggen's got 2K spent right away. I think that'll be his Death Cap. Yeah, there it is. And that's going to be really big because now he's actually converted that advantage he's gained on Cat from Twisted Fate, and we'll see if it comes to fruition later in the team fight. Yeah, he's matched him for auras. Bigger items on Froggen. Now they can win fights.
Yeah, the Trinity Force is there. The Shurelya's... actually, the Shurelya's is only on one side. That's a big deal. There we go. The pull is up onto Cat. Stoopy in the front, taking a lot of damage. Nice absolute zero. Sing knocked up. Burst goes down. That's 1 kill picked up. Can they turn this into anything else? Exhauster on a Lycan. Yellow Pete does get dropped down 1 for 1. Do they have the rest of the damage? Twisted Fate going in aggressively. What will they catch? Not quite anything. Froggen getting chased down, flashes away. Still, everything's alive. Just 1 for 1. Wicked getting pushed down, but he is disengaging. And when you look at that, everyone on counter logic able to run away at 10% health, and they're running towards Baron.
Yeah, so there's the disengage by CLG.EU. They got the 1 for 1, but are they too low right now? Ice, I don't know if they have the damage to take down Baron. They do not have Nunu to buff up Kog'Maw. They're all very low on mana. This is an all-in gamut. Froggen's ultimate is coming up shortly. They're going to try to poke down, potentially steal, or even fight here. They've all shopped. They're coming down. This is a very risky play by Ice. Could cost them the game, or it could win it. Let's see what happens.
Well, they're getting it very, very low, down to 1/3. Froggen's still waiting around, but Snoopy is so far away. Are they going to stay on? There's 1,000 health to go. It's not going to be an ult. It's going to be it picked up. Froggen so very, very low, forced to run away. There comes a flash taunt again. Lycan drop. He's going to fall, though. Now what can they pick up? Wicked incredibly low. He's going to flash out as well. Snoopy finally getting picked up. Wicked off from the side, trying to spam with the ultimate, trading a, looks like a 1 for 1 kill, but Baron was still picked up. That's still a gold lead here for Ice.
And it only cost them 1 kill. That is huge. There's still Baron on 4 members, everyone except for Kog'Maw, and the gold from that is also really, really impactful. Huge, huge play there by iCeLand. Will they be able to push here? Because it's so hard to push against Lux. They're actually, you can see a blue elixir just got built onto Frog, and they're making sure they get a power spike because this is the moment where iCeLand would be able to roll over CLG.EU if they want to take control of this game.
Yeah, Red actually recalling back, decides, yeah, that got pushed enough. He's going to get himself back to healthy. Ionic Spark, Sunfire Cape. See what else he grabs right here. Does he have money? He's got 1,500. He could buy whatever he wants. I don't know if he's like navigating the shop or waiting to see. There we go. Phage picked up.
Going Triforce.
He's going for that dueling power there because he realizes that he needs to be able to fight off Wicked's Aurelia. I mean, the best thing for him is if he actually pulls 2 people in instead of just a 1 versus 1. If he actually pulls 2 people, they can create 4-on-3s elsewhere, and that's just huge. Actually, Ice. Wow, look at that. Just they've still got map
easy dragon
going. Yeah, easy dragon. Actually, the ults come out. That was actually really, really close, but that is going to be Olaf's.
So they get their first dragon in the game after their first Baron, retaking the gold lead that they had lost early in the game. It was actually Wicked over in the top lane who was split pushing a bit, trying to just make this Baron expire. CLG doing a pretty good job clearing these waves and keeping just the map pushed so they can't get pushed in on themselves. The turrets are still 2-2. iCeLand might look to take that top turret with Shen or just shove straight up mid lane. Either way, if there is going to be a team fight, we saw even before the Baron buff, CLG's really just not ready to fight yet. They need to land the Lux before the fight instead of after. Otherwise, you seem to just get rolled over.
Do you think this is a weakness in their champion select, or is it okay to rely on Frog and Qs?
I think it's very much it's their playstyle, right? So many of their comps revolve around what Froggen does. When it's on Anivia, it's stalling, waiting for the right wall to come off and cannon them off. Lux is a lot the same way. They're really just waiting for Froggen to land bindings. It's a matter of patience, and it's a matter of getting those moments. This is how CLG plays. Froggen and Wicked get the farm.
She stole blue.
And he just stole blue buff. I think, can we shoot back to TF? Because he already had a blue buff.
No, she got the 87 gold. I saw her. And it was a fully
Very
refreshed
good.
leg. It was full on like great steal from Froggen. Nice play there. So again, that is a player you can absolutely rely on. Has not died at all this game. 1 kill, 2 assists, and he's got a lot of kills. So again, we're here not quite half an hour in. iCeLand really turning a couple of heads here, putting up a pretty good performance against Counterlogic Gaming Europe. That split push can happen from so many sides. You've got Shen on the bottom trying to stop Wicked.
Well, he'll stop him just fine.
At the top. Oh yeah, and there we go. And they've got the team waiting around. If someone tries to dual Twisted Fate, they're going to be in for a surprise. Looks like not the situation, though.
So there's actually, Yellow Pete is pushing the mid lane. They're going to try to do this while they hold off. This is very dangerous because there could be a 5-on-3 if they teleport in at the right moment. If Red comes in, they're going to push for this inhibitor. Yellow Pete's got to get back to base really fast because iCeLand might push this.
I mean, he's still going for it, and they're relying on Lux to stop the minion push. They're like specifically letting Yellow Pete stay up there. So
this is their gamut. He just ulted mid lane. He's going to continue this push. It's now on CLG to fall off or Ice to go in.
And they're going to push on a Froggen. Froggen dies before he can ult, and that's going to be free reign over the turret. Shen pops onto Cat as well. Cat's going to get away from the turret there, but suddenly, yeah, there we go. The recall finished from Wicked. This first turret's going to go down. They're onto the inhibitor now. And Yellow Pete, he's going to recall as well. The ult from Twisted Fate is on. That's going to spot everyone and make sure they can watch the initiation. He ults out to make sure he doesn't get jumped on. And the four members of iCeLand are going to completely walk away. That flash initiation for Twisted Fate made that fight.
So they were able to break the turtle so often, at least when COG turtles, it's the inhibitor that they hold on. The fact that iCeLand got that inhibitor in 29 minutes is really, really impressive for them. Yellow Pete was not able to complete that split push in time. That was a risky gamut that did not pay off for CLG. They're forced into these decisions because they're used to having the lead in these games and just taking them out. Now that they're behind, it's on them to start coming back in here. QSS actually on Twisted Fate, so they're making sure the one fight that they almost lost was because TF got pulled by Skarner. The next big thing for them is for Kog'Maw to get that QSS because that'll also make them somewhat immune to getting instantly killed by Froggen. Once they get those 2 items, they'll be a lot more dangerous.
Well, and now that his items are completed with that Infinity Edge, that's of course going to be his next big pickup. We'll see. You know, the gold not very high just yet, so this is the interesting situation where, though, you know, there's a lot of damage on iCeLand, but, you know, again, CLG just, they can pick someone out and make those kills happen. That's, you know, going to be CLG's big move right here. The inhibitor down, iCeLand trying to make some moves here. Finally, for the first time in like 15 minutes with a lead in this game, they're down in kills, but they've got everything else in their favor. They're up 2 turrets. They're up Baron, though that's timed out by now. And I think they've tied up Dragons 2 for 2. So,
yeah,
very, very close game. Only 4,000 gold, to be fair, splits these teams apart. That's not enough to just determine the game based on gold. It's going to be how these guys fight. They're going to push on in. Is it going to be it shouldn't be any. Oh, there's a taunt actually landing on so many people, putting out a fair bit of damage. They're going to be forced back again. CLG disengaging. Wicked pushing back. Cat off from the side. Snoopy's going to pull in onto Licken. That is the right target. Look at the burst damage. He's going to summon her heal, try to keep himself alive. Wicked's been forced right there. 2 kills already picked up, and they are chasing on down. The revive coming out does not matter too much, and look at that kill after kill after kill. 3 for 0. And it's going to be Twisted Fate. Can he get anything here? Red's trying to run away. Flashes over the wall. Still got a whole CLG team trying to chase him down. Trinity Force there on Ezreal. Will he get the slow? He does actually. Snoopy here again. The dash over the wall. Red is alive, but still 3 for 0 here.
Oh my goodness. We saw that once they needed the QSS on Kog'Maw to prevent him getting pulled in, and oh man, he got pulled in. This Super Minions are split pushing up there, but Froggen's there to defend. Shen distracted them for quite a while, but they might be able to trade at the very least a turret, hopefully an inhibitor for them. They're going to fall back probably after this, though. Yeah, they got to. So not quite able to get the inhibitor, but a very, very good fight by CLG. 2,000 gold gained from that, inhibitor turret gained from that, and the fear that they can win fights against iCeLand.
The scary thing, though, too, is that they've lost one of their Nexus turrets. Froggen went back to defend it, but the Super Minion push actually took down one of the 2 Nexus turrets here, which means that any bad fight for CLG is almost guaranteed to be the base blowing up here in iCeLand's favor. So it's almost even more pressure for them to be like, we can't make any single mistake here.
And here's a really, really interesting thing coming in. Cat's next item is going to be a Lich Bane, right?
Yeah.
they also have Shen. So if that's ever unprotected, if CLG ever leaves an exposed inhibitor, they can double teleport into there and just obliterate the turret. Shen can tank it with this huge amounts of armor. TF can kill it with the Lich Bane. That's a huge amount of danger CLG now has to account for, and they have to be very, very controlled and careful in the way they poke around this Baron, because that's where the next objective is. You can see Shen, Red up in the top lane pushing. CLG needs an answer to that because they're also poking around Baron. We're going to see some really exciting stuff happen very quickly because CLG, tough to answer this. They're pushing mid.
Oh no, and I think it's going to be pretty happy for iCeLand to go for a base trade. They should be faster, I would expect, but now they know that CLG up in the front lines.
They're sending two back. They're getting an inhib.
Sending two back, but they're going to go for the inhibitor for free. I don't know, if I'm iCeLand, I just go for it. Twisted Fate actually teleports in. There's what you called it. Shen is there. They're going to make the pressure. Wicked is on top of this one, but they've got minions as well. This is really going to be a base trade here. The push onto Froggen so very, very low. The taunt does not land. Wicked getting really low. There's the rest of the recalls. They're actually leaving everyone to go back to the base, it seems. But they've got a 5-on-5 here. This turret now taking damage. He's going for the pain. There's the pull. It's going to be so much pain. This Kog'Maw not liking his life very much. He's going to fall down. A 2 for 0 so far. They've turned it back onto Aurelia. TK Singh going to fall. Crepo, no health, but they're going to chase down Cat. Looks like no one is going to be able to fight here for iCeLand. Yellow Pete going over the wall. He's going to find Cat. The Quicksilver Sash does keep him alive. The ult, he's going to dodge it. He's going to be okay here, but there's no way he gets away from Stoopy and Yellow Pete. He's going to fall on down, and now it's just Olaf left alive. That fight did not go like iCeLand wanted.
CLG forced iCeLand into a decision, and CLG outplayed them when that happened. They got the inhibitor, and they made it back in time. Essentially, when they pushed mid with 3 people, iCeLand thought they had a clean shot at the base, which is why TF and Shen went in together. But when they actually had the 2 members back there to defend, they confused them, made them hesitate. It gave the rest of the time for all of CLG to come back, and now they're forcing the Oracles off Olaf, and they're going to get a Baron.
Oh, completely crushed on down. That makes it the ace just before Noonan revives. Now there's really not much chance for them to steal Baron away, so this is going to be theirs completely. Counterlogic Gaming Europe, honestly, I'd call that a comeback at this point, because down to 1 Nexus turret, that's a tough situation to navigate. This Baron going to be CLG's here. You can see they're up in 8 kills, but look how close that gold is. It's not kills that's making this game. It's all the map control, the just rampant split pushing the turrets that have been kind of the wheelhouse for iCeLand. CLG finally in what I think is actually map position. And
in both of these fights, they've been able to pull in Lycan on Kog'Maw because he's yet to complete that QSS. Let's see if he has enough gold for it right now. He needs 900 to finish that off.
Yeah.
Another 150, but with the Baron buff, this is going to be a bit of a pause button in all honesty for CLG. They're so vulnerable in their base, but because they have Baron, iCeLand's not going to want to fight them. I think there's going to be a lot of farming out here, and it might be a while until we can get a fight. If CLG can get one, they're obviously going to take it, but with the double QSS on the 2 priority targets that's going to be coming soon for iCeLand, it's going to be very hard for CLG to force in the right position unless iCeLand makes a pretty big misplay.
Oh, they're coming to check down onto the Dragon. Okay.
He was behind the wall.
Yeah, he was behind the wall. It's like,
got me a
hold on
little bit too, yeah.
I saw the mini-map. But so we're kind of in a weird situation here, right? The inhibitors respawn at the top of the map there, so there's a lot less minion pressure from iCeLand onto CLG. But that middle inhibitor has fallen pretty recently, which means big minions are going to keep pouring down that mid lane, and that leaves iCeLand's base pretty vulnerable, I think.
It means that their side turrets are actually pretty vulnerable, because you look at the bottom lane, they haven't lost anything in that. You look at the top lane, they're only down the 1 outer. CLG might be able to loop around and kind of take those outers, unless, you know, stuff like this. Red keeping that side lane pretty pushed up. The top lane is a little pushed themselves. Now it is the 1 inhibitor versus 0 inhibitor. All of CLG's minions will have 100 more health, but even with that, if they keep pushing them out, CLG's going to have to capitalize on this. Baron almost half gone already. Red's got to get out of here.
They're piling down towards Red. Now, he does have 0 vision of that river, but he smells it. He smells it. He's
actually ults. Yep.
He's going to ult away from that just to make sure he gets away. That's going to make him get out in just enough time. And there we go. Cat at the top lane, happy to farm that all out. And, of course, all of CLG, and there's that bottom turret you said was available. They're going to pick that one up. 5 to 7 in turrets now. CLG pulling this back as far as structures are concerned.
They're going to continue this push on. They know Twisted Fate's in the top lane. They know the Shen ult is down. They're going to be able to pick up 2 of these real cleanly, and they might even try to continue into the inhibitor turret because they know TF's way up there. It's going to take him a while to get back. He's got to get back immediately if they want to hold this down.
The recall coming back out from Shen, and there's Wicked diving through, picking up all the minions rather quickly. Now let's see what happens here. We got a potential 5-on-5. Twisted Fate finally recalling backwards. CLG using this Baron to jockey for position. We've got a minute and a half left on it. They're waiting around on the right-hand side.
Actually a binding that everyone thought would land. That's why Yellow Pete procced up his Ezreal ultimate. They're down in Ezreal ult right now for this upcoming fight. Might be making it very difficult for them to take down this middle turret.
Oh, man. Yellow Pete is shaking some wild cards off to the side right there. That's really, really good overall. There we go. Wards off into the base. Going to help spot Cat when he goes for those pokes. Just trying to toss out wildcards. He's actually hitting pretty well. Krepo taking some pain here. Blood Boiled Kog'Maw, though. I feel like he's so safe, though, with this turret right there. But, I mean, it is up to CLG really to make these moves here. They've got big minions coming down the mid lane. They've got a couple of champions down here. Stoopy waiting around. Did not want to pull in Shen, it seems. That's probably a great choice. Olaf getting lower and lower, though. Both these teams really poking out a lot of pain on both sides. There's the pull in from Red. They're going to find a little bit of damage here. Stun going off to Lux. But there's no one quite dying. Red's so very, very low. And Froggen actually dropped incredibly low as well. The shield's trying to keep them alive here. CLG still pushing.
Yeah, TF took a gold card to Froggen's face right over the wall there, and they're defending this very well with that wild card spam. Everyone who got poked down has actually been able to shot back. So a small lesson in disengaging here, trying to keep that middle turret around while dealing with the Baroned up CLG, and they're doing an expert job holding this off. Can they continue?
Oh, 228 taking a lot of pain right there. And there we go. The push is on again. Olaf forced to ult away so very low, and the ult coming in. He's going to get Froggen. He's so. Can he get it? No, the Lulu will keeping him alive. A 1-for-0, and Ice has to disengage. And Froggen's going to stick around in the background. They've now made a 5-on-4 happen.
Well, they still have a little bit of the Baron buff, so that's going to continue to heal them up. And Twisted Fate going all in, that could be the fatal mistake that cost them the game, because they're going to push clean through. Baron now off, but that's going to be the second inhib. And if they get some kills, they'd be able to end, but they may end up disengaging. Either way, multiple inhibs coming down here and a huge advantage gain for CLG.
That middle inhibitor literally just respawned 3 seconds ago, and they're going to get now double inhibitor death. And they're not going to want to fight with Twisted Fate down. And look at the pings, actually. The minions themselves actually took down this top turret, so they're up to the inhibitor again. CLG able to start wrecking this base. Kog'Maw trying to keep them back. Light Binding hits too. Nice ult, drops them low again. Froggen is just crushing people's health bars in these fights so far.
It's been pretty much like we thought was going to happen. He pokes with a light binding, and if he gets a good one, they'll go in for the fight. Even at the start of the poke that happened in the bottom turret, when they landed the combo onto Olaf, that's when Skarner went into ult Shen. So it started everything with the enemy already having a member at half health or below. Even with all this, though, if iCeLand gets a clean team fight, if they can somehow hold out long enough for both those inhibs to come up, they still have the threat. I mean, we had the back and forth about Nunu Kog'Maw being crazy late game, but it's kind of nullified by their Twisted Fate and Shen not having the globals.
Yeah.
That's almost exactly what's happening here, because the gold is even. CLG's not a particularly amazing late game team, and it's shown that iCeLand isn't either, but because they have the Nunu Kog, it's keeping them kind of in it. And the even gold is resulting in very even fights, because the team comps actually match up very evenly in scaling.
Yeah, they really do. And the thing that I think helps, though, iCeLand so much is that they're finally getting some health bars for themselves. Olaf has a Warmog's armor finally, so that like Lux poke almost goes to waste on Olaf at this point. He's got a Negatron cloak, Shirley's Reverie, Warmog's armor. I don't see Lux pulling him down very fast.
Oh, no.
Oh, this is not good. Yeah, Sing forced to flash away down below half health. Yellow Pete, a bit of poke as well, getting him lower and lower. Wow, would you look at that team?
22 health.
Oh my gosh. And he's gone, right? Like, he can't be in that fight anymore. It's a 5-on-4. A little bit of red buff slow from Yellow Pete. Not quite going to catch up to red, but that team they just put damage on from across the screen, and lower and lower and lower they go.
Another blue buff steal here, going to keep it. Now they have Froggen and Yellow Pete with the blue buff. That's extremely high poke. They don't have a Baron buff. They don't really care at this point with how much they've proven they can poke here. That was like, all the damage that landed on Nunu there was from over 1,000 range. It's just a matter of being extremely difficult for Ice to hold this. The wards are inside the base. They're going to keep spamming them in there, going to threaten them off, trying to clear these wards. And the turret getting poked by Yellow Pete. He's got a Guardian Angel now too, so he's more safely poking. Half a turret gone in the first wave. Let's see what they can continue to do.
And the great thing is, as well, is they have blue buff on both Ezreal and on Lux, so they're going to constantly put out these skill shots, constantly clear out these minions. And they're playing so very smart too, because only Yellow Pete's going for the turret damage.
But you can see the damage threat. Last Whisper being completed on a Kog'Maw. It's crazy. 0-4, but with 300 minion kills and the Nunu buff, he's still a huge threat to be reckoned with. CLG might peel back for a Baron here, but with the 2 inhibs down, they're just going to keep pushing down. If they get 3, they'll win the game. Yeah,
there we go. Arcane Shift back. There's a little bit of pressure going on. A nice ultimate from Lux. Wow. Everyone's so incredibly low. No magic goes from Red, and there we go. In the front, it's going to be... Oh, look at Snoopy just getting crushed on his health bar. Is Olaf going to keep chasing through? That's going to be Nunu falling on down. No more kills picked up. 2 for 0 still. 228 now stuck in the front. Wicked pops a Guardian Angel. Lycan gets caught out here. Is it going to be enough? Yes, it will. Froggen picks that one up. and that's going to be so many kills picked up here. The shield just barely blocking the passive damage from Cog. That's going to be everyone falling down. Would you look at that one? Froggen making that one happen. 20-6, 41.5 minutes in. CLG.EU clawing their way through. They're going to go 1-0 in the group. They're facing CLG Prime next. iCeLand going to be facing Fear to stay alive in this group stage.
Just slip my blazer back on here. Try to look professional. No, I'm not going to do it. I can't make it. Unprofessional look. It's fine. I got the shirt on. That was an awesome game, Freak, actually. Look out Fear, because that's the next matchup, right? Yeah. CLG NA won, so they'll be going through to play against CLG.EU in this group stage, and iCeLand will get to play Fear. But that was really just a matter of iCeLand having an edge and not really having the experience against CLG.EU to know exactly how to close it, but that could have swung on so many things. There was a Nexus turret down for CLG.EU that game. That's how close that was. The gold was pretty much even the entire way. Eventually, the poke persisted through for CLG.EU, and they were able to take it. But overall, great play by iCeLand, and they have a future in this tournament, and even in the rest of League of Legends, because if you can play against CLG.EU like that on your first try, it's impressive.
Yeah, and I gotta hand it though, because a lot of that game was made on clutch moves. The opening was really, really good. The first turret, the first dragon, all that. And they were in the driver's seat for so long, and it was Snoopy getting 2 really good impales 2 fights in a row. Like we talked about Froggen Lux and how his poke.
He got licking twice in a row on Kog'Maw.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's so huge. Like it's where everything's going to come from. Is right, that team, they have like one, I mean, they have a couple of different initiators, but like that's the only way you like for sure kill a high priority target. Snoopy getting in there, the Shurelya's, the Whimsy, everything coming together, the shield coming out from Lux, and just pulling that Kog'Maw in. That was so incredibly important.
Yep. So 42-minute game, classic CLG in a sense. They held out. They're able to stall. We're going to continue to have more group stage games. All the streams having games right now. Main stage, there's a spectator-only stream. We got 4 groups going at the same time. All 8 teams playing at once of 16, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Getting caught up in my words. But we'll have another group stage game coming up. Going to take a quick break.